start from the beginning. Netball is played on a rectangular court measuring approximately 30 metres by 15 metres. The court is divided into thirds. The middle third is known as the centre third, and the two areas at either end are called the goal thirds. In each goal third you'll find a semicircle known as the circle, containing a post with a ring and a net. In the centre third you'll find a smaller circle known as the centre circle. This is where games are started from and then restarted whenever a team scores a goal. The long outer lines of the court are known as the sidelines, and the shorter outer lines are called the goal lines, and the two lines that separate the thirds of the court are known as the transverse lines. Although netball is a fast-paced and dynamic team game, it's also a non-contact sport, although you wouldn't always believe it if you watch international and top-level national matches. If you're going to play netball, then it's important that you know the areas of the court, because no single player on a netball team can move in every area of the court. Each netball team has 7 players on court. Each player position has a specific name: the goalkeeper, the goal defense, the wing defense, the center, the wing attack, the goal attack, and the goal shooter. You can easily spot which position someone is playing from the bib on their kit. The 2 letters correspond to the initials of their position. GK is the goalkeeper, WA is the wing attack, and so on. Let's look at where each player can move on the court. The goalkeeper is only allowed to move in the goal third that she's defending. The goal defense can move in the goal third and the centre third, and the wing defense can move in the goal third and a centre third but cannot go into the circle. The centre can move in all thirds but can't go inside either circle. The wing attack can move in the centre third and opposition goal third but not inside the circle. The goal attack can move in the centre third and attacking goal circle, and the goal shooter can move only inside the goal third she's attacking. You can find out more about each of the positions in the Essentials section of this academy. A game of netball is made up of 4 quarters, each lasting 15 minutes, with a 3-minute break after the first and third quarters and a 5-minute break halfway through between quarters 2 and 3. The game is won by the team that scores the most goals, and each team sets up opportunities to score goals by passing the ball down court to the goal shooter or goal attack in the circle. Both these players can score goals, and they have to be standing inside the circle when they shoot. The game is started at the beginning of each pass with a centre pass, made by the centre from the centre circle. Teams alternate the first centre pass of each quarter, so if the team playing in white throws the centre pass at the beginning of the first quarter, then it'll be the team wearing the black kit that starts the second quarter. If the ball goes out of court, then the game restarts with a throw-in by the opposing team to the player that last touched the ball before it went out of court. Occasionally during a game, the umpire won't be able to decide which player is at fault following a 50-50 situation. When this happens, the game is restarted with a toss-up. Like most sports, netball has lots of rules, but you only need to know a few of the most important ones to get started or follow a game. Games are refereed by 2 umpires that each cover half of the court. The umpire will blow a whistle to start, restart or stop the game when a goal has been scored, and to signal when an infringement is to be penalised. Let's look at rules for passing and receiving the ball first. When a player has the ball in their hands, they have to release a pass or shoot within 3 seconds, and they have to observe the footwork rule as they do. Players can use a range of passes to get the ball to their teammates, and there's 2 key additional rules to remember in relation to passing. Firstly, the short pass rule. This rule states that at the moment the ball is passed, there must be room for a third player to move between the hands of the thrower and those of the receiver, which effectively means that the ball must actually leave one player's hands and fly a distance equivalent to the width of a player before it touches the receiver's hands. There's also a limit on how far you can throw a pass to. You can throw a pass across the full width of the court, but when the ball is passed down court, it must not pass over more than one transverse line. What this really means is that the ball cannot be thrown from one goal third to another. It must be passed to a player in the centre third first and then passed on, or at the very least touched by a player in the centre third. The footwork rule puts a limit on the movement a player can make once they have the ball in their hands, and it's interpreted differently based on a number of situations. Firstly, if a player receives the ball with one foot grounded, or jumps to catch the ball and lands on one foot, then they can step with the other foot in any direction any number of times, pivoting on the landing foot. They can also lift the landing foot, but they must throw or shoot before the landing foot is regrounded. Alternatively, in this situation, the player can step or jump from the landing foot onto the other foot, and then step or jump again, but must throw the ball or shoot before regrounding either foot. Secondly, if a player receives the ball while both feet are grounded or jumps to catch and then lands on both feet simultaneously, then they can step with either foot, but whichever foot they pivot from becomes the landing foot. In the same way as before, they can then step or pivot as many times as they wish, but if they lift their landing or pivoting foot, then the ball must be released before the foot is regrounded. Again, as before in this situation, the player can step or jump from the landing foot onto the other foot, and then step or jump again, but must throw the ball or shoot before regrounding either foot. This might all seem a little complicated, but you'll soon get the hang of it. Finally, let's look at the key rule for marking and defending. When a defending player marks a player with the ball, they can stand no nearer than 3 feet or 90 centimeters from the player with the ball. The 3-foot mark is measured as the distance between the passing player's grounded foot and the nearest foot of the defender, or the place where that grounded foot had been if they lifted it. If the player with the ball doesn't move their feet at all, then the 3 feet is measured as the distance between the foot of each player closest to the other. At the 3-foot mark, the defender can defend or attempt to intercept the ball using a range of movements, including jumping. But if they land within 3 feet of that player and they still have possession of the ball, then an obstruction may occur. So that's the basics of netball covered. If you're keen to learn more, why not check out the Essentials section now, or maybe watch a skills guide to learn a new pass, or maybe how to shoot.
Objective in netball. The objective of netball is to score more points than your opponent. The team is supposed to pass the ball around and shoot it into the goal ring to score goals. Scoring in netball. Scoring in netball is very straightforward. Each time the ball goes through the net, the team gets a score. Rules of netball. 1. The netball court, which is just bigger than a basketball court, traditionally measures up to 30.5 meters long and 15.25 meters wide. 2. The court must be divided into 3 sections, with each player holding a section-specific position on the court. 3. The sections are referred to as the 2 goal thirds and the center or middle third. 4. In netball, these set positions limit where the player can be on the court. 1. Goal shooter. 2. Goal attack. 3. Wing attack. 4. Center. 5. Wing defense. 6. Goal defense. 7. Goalkeeper. 5. A netball game is equally divided into 4 quarters, with each quarter lasting for only 15 minutes. 6. Between the second and third quarter, a halftime of 5 minutes is given. 7. Each team can have a maximum of 7 players and a minimum of 5. 8. If a player moves into a position that they shouldn't be in, they'll be deemed to be offsides. 9. Players cannot hold the ball for more than 3 seconds. 10. It's not permissible for players to take more than 1.5 steps when in possession of the ball. 11. The ball must go through the ringed hoop for a goal to be given. 12. Unlike other sports, only the goal shooter or goal attack can score goals in netball, and they must be within the semicircle when they shoot. 13. Using the different number of passes available to the player, the netball must be moved around the court through passing. 14. The ball must be worked to the goal shooter and goal attack players who attempt to shoot from inside the semicircle. 15. A netball game can be played with a court, 2 goals, and a ball. 16. Regulation uniforms are part of the game in official matches, but impromptu netball games can take place with a minimum amount of equipment. 17. To avoid a violation called obstruction, the job of the goal defense and goalkeeper is to block the goal attack and goal shooter from shooting being 3 feet or more away from the landing foot of the shooter. 18. A no goal occurs if the ball passes through the hoop that has been thrown either outside the circle or by a player other than the 2 shooters. 19. If there's a situation where a player completely misses a shot, the player may not catch it. In case they do it, it will be considered a replay, and a free pass will be awarded to the other team. 20. A goal will also not be awarded if the ball is deflected off the goalkeeper or goal defense and goes through the goal ring. 21. Using your hands to block a player off the ball is allowed as long as it is for the purpose of catching, deflecting, or intercepting a pass, obtaining a rebound from an unsuccessful shot at goal, or signaling for a pass. 22. Obstruction will be called out by a referee if you mark a player with your arms out. This is because a player cannot move into the landing space of an opponent, position so closely to an opponent that contact is inevitable, push, trip, hold, or lean on an opponent resulting in physical contact, knock or remove the ball from the possession of an opponent while they're holding it in their hands, or push the ball into the hands of an opponent. This is it, folks. Make sure you go through each of these thoroughly before participating in netball. Share with us your experiences in the comment section down